Right. Again, definitely you can select any product or service for assessment 2, environmental scan, and explain where they compete. Okay. And you write the report basically to explain how to explain the how the environment affects the business. Okay. Okay. Now it is a report format. Okay. Excel summary is not required, but please make sure that you include title page, table of contents, again, use headings and subheadings, and please also include your the students' names and also students' IDs. Okay, so please take it as kind of formal writing report. Okay, and again, referencing. Okay, is that a must? Yes, you must include the references. Okay. Number of words. If you look at number of words, 2,500 words, basically, plus minus 10%. So if you write, 2,750, excluding table of content, excluding title page, excluding references and reference list, right, you'll be fine, okay? Right, now, this one here, why don't you start with the background information about the company? Again, this is where this is a section where we introduce the company. Okay, what product, service that they offer. If they offer a range of product, you can explain. You can explain the a number of. You can explain the major products that they carry, that they offer for the customers. Okay, and the next one is the situation analysis. Now, situation analysis in here requires us to look at macro and micro environmental analysis. Okay, so we need to look at the forces such as the economic, political, legal, social, cultural, and technological factors. Now, if you look at the first webinar, the first module presentation that I just presented, you'll be able to find a model named PAST or STEP or STEP. Okay, they're the same thing. All right. So you can use that model, or you can use the 6 factors. You can explain the 6 factors of macro environmental forces in your analysis as well. That is fine. All right. So what is the purpose of this analysis? Well, the purpose of this analysis is actually to show how they change and how their change affect our business. Okay, how past factors, how changes of past factors affect our business. Okay, and then please also look at the SWOT analysis. Okay, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now that one is still in module 1. If you look at module 1 presentation, you will be able to find the first 2 in here. Okay, and competitive analysis. Which is basically you explain 2 competitors' product or services, including why or what makes our competitors to the products that we are reviewing. Okay, I got a question actually some time ago. My product is basically a new product, therefore I don't have competitors. Look, in our business landscape, in today's business landscape, you'll definitely have competitors. All right, unless you are a monopoly holder. Okay, if you're not a monopoly holder, then you will have competitors. Okay, the question for us is actually to ask, if our brand or product is not available on the market, what product that consumers will buy to satisfy their needs? They are your competitors. Okay, so let me give you a bit of example. When iPad was just launched, okay, by Apple back in 2010. Arguably they are the first one in tablet computer category. Okay, therefore the competitors that they looked at the time were netbook, laptop, and desktop or PC. Okay, so they had competitors. Okay, but probably not in the tablet computers. Right now, if they analyze the competitor analysis, if they perform competitor analysis now, the landscape is changed. They are going to look at the other competitors, such as any other tablet computers offered by Samsung or Microsoft Surface, and so on and so forth. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a bit of information on that one. Yeah. So if you find that you don't have competitors, please look at it again. I'm going to push you back because unless you can argue that they are monopoly holder and like Sydney Water, for instance, or Sydney Train, for instance, okay, they are the basically monopoly holder, then yes, you don't have competitors in that kind of category. Okay. All right, the next one is consumer buyer characteristics, which is basically not in module 1. In module 2, we are going to discuss the consumer buyer characteristics. Okay, this one here is related to consumer behavior. All right, and please stay tuned for the module 2. I'm going to upload module 2 very soon. All right. And the other thing that we also need to show is information that is obtained from any secondary sources. Okay, either books, journal, newspapers, or any other secondary sources, secondary sources to support our argument. Okay, and make sure that we put them in the reference list. Yeah. Relevant concepts should be explained, and you also need to use it. Why is that? Look, guys, at our level of study, we need to be able to communicate and argue using the concepts. Okay, and then when we quote the concepts, very likely that we need to look at the sources of the concepts, either our e-text or any, including journals or academic papers. Okay, so that's basically assessment 2. All right, so again, stay tuned. You'll be assigned to a group of 4 to 6 people. Okay, we expect somewhere between that, but in some instances we may have a bit less than 4. Okay, but please stay tuned. Okay. All right. Now, next thing I'm going to do is to discuss assessment 3 brief as an overview. Okay. Now, assessment 3 is still about group. Hello. Sorry, have I heard any questions? Oh, hi, Ryan.
Hello, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good, thanks.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear the question. Sorry.
I didn't have anything to say. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Can we move on, guys, or you have questions with the previous assessments? Okay. I just can't hear who was talking actually. Was you Beth? No. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. All right. Now the next assessment 3, is also another group project. Okay. So therefore, I would encourage you to start the communications, right, either through discussion forum that I created, and thanks to those who have introduced themselves in the general discussion forum I created. Okay. Now, assessment 3 is actually about marketing strategy presentation. Okay, so you will create a presentation for 20 minutes presentation, which is basically around 25 slides. Okay, a maximum of 25 slides, and 10 minutes Q&A. If it is a face-to-face, and in our case, I don't think we'll have the Q&A. And part B is actually about the group peer review in 500 words. So you're going to review your peers, any other groups, to about their presentation, and you give them feedback. Okay. All right. Now, assessment 3 is actually continuation of your assessment 2. Okay. I'm hearing someone is. Ooh, okay. Just that if you can.
It's Ryan's background.
Sorry.
Basically, Ryan's background.
Okay.
Apologies. I'll move into another room.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So assessment 3 is the continuation of assessment 2. In assessment 2, we are writing reports on environmental analysis. Okay. Now, actually, after we write the environmental analysis, okay, if you think about a marketing plan, the next thing that you do is actually to write the strategy. Okay. Therefore, you are going to write that strategy here. Okay. Now, again, there are two parts in here. Part A is basically your presentation. You upload it on the, you upload your presentation. Okay, you get your group to present it. Okay, we are going to talk about that in more detail next few weeks. Okay, I'm not going to shock you with, I'm not going to provide you with all information now. Just the purpose is basically today to give you a bit of overview. So we are going to discuss that in next few weeks in terms of technicalities. Now, what do we need to include? Well, we need to include the background information of the company that we select, okay, which is basically related to the second assessment. Okay, you explain the target market, you explain the positioning strategy, and then you explain the marketing mix strategies. Okay, the marketing mix variables that includes product, price, place, promotion, and extended marketing mix variables. Okay, people, process, and physical evidence. Now, module 1 presentation that I just delivered includes the all marketing mix variables briefly. Along the way of the course, we are going to discuss them in more detail. What product, relevant concepts are in terms of product, price, place, and so on and so forth. Okay, we are going to discuss them in more detail. Okay, so the next few modules we are going to discuss them. We are going to revisit each marketing mix variables. Okay. All right. So that's basically the assessments that we need to deliver. And the next thing I'm going to do is basically to go back to our assessment one, just in case we still have questions on the assessment one. And I noticed that we have someone asking question. Okay. Oh, thanks a lot, Rob. Okay. All right. So that's basically our the three assessments that we need to attack. Okay. Now, any questions or comments so far?
For assessment 2,
yes.
Will we be in the same group for assessment 3 as well?
Yes.
Or is it a different group? Okay.
Yeah. That's a good question, Sahar. Yes. We are not going to reallocate you to another group for the third assessment, because group is actually a process where you introduce yourself, you blend with your friends, and so on and so forth. So yeah, the same group, same product, and the same group. Okay. Actually, I got the question. I'm sorry, guys, if we jump a little bit to assessment 2 and 3. I like your question. It seems like you are a future planner, and I got a question some time ago. Can we change the product because we don't like the product? Well, look, I do not recommend that. Highly not recommended to change the product, because you will not get the continuation between assessment 2 and assessment 3. Okay, assessment 2 is actually your situation analysis, and assessment 3 is a strategy. Okay, so these two should match one to another, should be linked one to another. Okay. All right. So any other questions?
Yeah, Eddie, I'm new to the online sort of studying. So in terms of doing like a report as a group, like how does that work? Like, does everybody work on bits and pieces and put the whole report together, or how do you do that?
Right. Well, that's actually a good question, Rob. In terms of how you work in a group through online, especially, I think a number of things that I noticed that students normally do a number of things, including creating their own Google Drive, okay, including creating their own Facebook page, and also definitely our learning portal allows you to create posting. Okay, so when you are assigned to a group, you will have a discussion forum for your group only. Okay, so you can use them to communicate with the others. Okay, There are some options in there in terms of the channel that you can use. Okay, how technically, in terms of the technical aspect on how you can work in a group. Well, I guess it is just the same thing as you work in the face-to-face situation, except now you're a bit, you're separated from, from distance perspective. So one of the things that I strongly recommend is to make sure that we share our posting, we allocate the task clearly, and make sure that it is clearly defined. Okay, have I answered your question, Rob?
Yeah, so like you're saying, like, allocate parts so everybody works on different parts of the report.
Yep.
Then maybe somebody's allocated to like put the whole report together, that sort of stuff.
Yep,
okay.
that kind of thing. Just on the just on the second assessment, my recommendation to everybody is if you look at past analysis, which is one of the key components, okay, you may want to work on the past analysis together and then move on together to the next one, which is basically SWOT. Okay, now these kind of things I will make sure that I will bring that again when it comes to group, when it comes to assessment 2 later on. Okay, and I plan to also post a bit of suggested ground rules from me. I will suggest the ground rules in terms of how you can work together as a group. Okay, but most likely you are going to drive the group. Okay, yeah. Any other questions?
Are we given a product, or do we, as a group, agree on one product to research?
That's actually a good question. You will select the product. What I'm going to do next is to create an assessment forum. And after, especially for the group project, I'm going to post, an introduction in here, in that forum. And I'd like you to post your product, the product that you have selected, because we will adopt the exclusive principle. Okay, so let's say someone has selected iPhone, for instance, for argument's sake. So that iPhone is actually dedicated, for this group. Okay. The other group cannot select that, cannot select iPhone. All right. So after, stay tuned. After you are assigned to a group in the next few weeks, okay. I would suggest that you drive your communication, you drive your internal communication quickly, and make a quick decision to nominate the product and post your product. Hey, this is the product I'm going to that our group has decided. Okay, if you're the first, then you get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? No. Now, if you don't have any question, can I please ask? Have you got the chance to look at the video presentation that I uploaded for Module 1? Yep. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Any questions from that presentation?
No, not from me.
Okay. Well, look.
I mainly got
Module
everything
1,
down.
what was that? What was that? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I basically got everything down, basically from the video, so
All right.
it was very detailed.
All right. Cool. That's good. If I can briefly summarize before we go, Module 1 is actually about introducing marketing, right? That's where we can find marketing concepts. Okay? Definition of marketing. What are the core marketing concepts that become the foundation in understanding marketing? Okay, the evolution of marketing. Okay, there are 5 stages in terms of marketing concepts. Okay, so please have a look at that. And the second part of Module 1 is actually environmental forces. Okay, that includes micro and macro environment. Okay, so that's basically the content of Module 1 in a nutshell. Okay, All right. Now the other thing is that look, if you have questions, please send me an email, and I posted my email address on the announcement. Please do not hesitate to send me an email, and my commitment is to get back to you, to your email, on the next day at the latest. But so far, over the last couple of years since I deliver online, most of the emails have been answered on the same day. Okay, so I'll try to maintain that. I try to maintain that that record. Okay. All right. If you don't have any more questions, then basically that's basically it. And Elisa, did you find your questions, your chat box? But okay. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Elisa. All right. If that's the case, then I'll off you from the hook, and thank you very much. I'm going to post this presentation, the recording on the announcement board. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.